Hello, here we are, Barton level 3, lesson number 5. This is an exciting day for your student because your student learned their very first spelling rule or generalization. It really is more of a generalization than a rule, because for every rule we have words that don't follow that exact pattern. In this case, I call those but not words. All of these, but not these. Okay, so we're going to start with learning what we learned today. We learned two things today. First of all, we learned what we call Z-FLOSS rule. I like to say it with a little French accent, Z-FLOSS rule, because it's more fun. So that's what we do, and that's how we can get in all the letters that we need. So the rule is that if a word has only one vowel, it's important, one vowel, and it ends with F, L, S, or Z, we double those letters at the end. Okay? But here's your but not words. Here's a couple of them, but not. Gas, short for gasoline. Bus, actually short for the word autobus. Yes, not sure what that's short for. And quiz, and then there's others that you can find, gal and pal. It's kind of fun to let your student find some of the but not words. I found a rule breaker today. That's always a fun thing for them. Okay, so Z-FLOSS rule. And then we also learned units, okay? Units are 3 letters at the end that make an unusual sound. In this case, the first unit that they learned is all, okay? All only has 3 letters at the end, and it makes, or all has 3 letters at the end that makes an unusual sound. The A does not say a as an apple like you would expect it to. It says all. So it makes an unusual sound. The way that we mark this in the Barton system, is we box these off. That's kind of how we mark that type of unit. So your student, this is a new syllable type for your student. So your student now knows closed syllables and they now know unit syllables. Okay, let's get down to business here. Couple places your student would have this recorded. They would have the spelling rule written out on or about page 17 of their Barton notebook. Should look like this. If a word has only one vowel and it ends with FLS or Z, you should double it. And then you can write your but not words there. Okay, so this is your personalized notebook. Now we're going to skip all the way down to on or about page 49. So again, remember, this is kind of a living, breathing document that changes and evolves as the students need it to, as the tutors find that there should be additional information provided. So this is how I would illustrate it. The keyword sounds like as an olive, and it says all. All only has 2 letter L's at the end of the word. Okay, so, and we'll talk more about what happens in a multi-syllable word later on. So again, all the students at the 20% Club should be using this personalized notebook so that they can have all of the information they've learned in one spot. If you are not part of the 20% Club, you can always purchase this in my TPT store. And here's the screen for it. All right, let's get into the new stuff we're gonna do today though. All right, let's go through the extra practice pages. So again, like always, we're gonna start with extra practice number 3. We will do numbers 1 and 2 in the session. Okay, so put the letter at the beginning of each line into the blanks on that line. If it follows the floss rule, circle it. So, okay, so we've got the word class, fact, and staff. We can see by the double letters at the end, here is one floss rule, and here is the other. Okay, so I think this is pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna, this would be an E, smell, smell, or smell, Jeff, and dress. And then which ones would be the floss rule? Smell, Jeff, and dress would all be floss rules. So for this one, I'm not going to put the letter in. Your student can do that. Thrill and kiss are your floss rules. For this one, we've got doll and boss. And this will be dull and stuff. So those are all of the floss rule answers for extra practice number 3. Add an extra letter to the end of the word that follows the Z-FLOSS rule, as I like to say. So I'm going to put an S here for toss, an S here for miss, an L for Jill, staff gets an F, Cliff gets an F, ball, mess, and spell. And the last one, read each sentence, circle the word that follows the floss rule. So the dog did sniff the lunch that fell in the hall. Now, sometimes people always ask me, like, why is did something in front of the verb? That's because your student has not learned suffixes yet. So these are all tightly controlled, decodable. So they are a little wonky with what I would call some of the grammar in here, but that is so that your student can decode these without guessing. Again, we are working on breaking any kind of guessing habit, putting the power back into your students' hands so that they know exactly how to attack a word by decoding it. Okay, so I'm going to go through and just give you all the answers for all Z-FLOSS rules. Swiss and doll and grass, bill and will and grill and all. Smell. Gruff and boss, stall, his staff. Jill to toss a shell off the cliff. Okay, so that's it for your extra practice pages. The other thing that you have to do is your fluency drills. You know, like always, it's a good time to make sure that your student knows all these words as far as vocabulary goes. A word like maybe gill, whiff, scuff. Just make sure your student knows these words. And again, you know what I'm going to say. I'm always going to say accuracy over speed. Speed will come after the words are read accurately. So we don't care about fast and wrong. We care about going at the pace your student can be accurate at. Okay, so we have real words. There's quite a few in this one. We have sight words. Some of the more common sight words that I see students mixing up are Mr. and Mrs. Students really don't have a good concept of Mr. and Mrs. What and want are often confused. So those are a couple that I would watch out for. Were and where are those. Make sure your student can use each of them in a sentence. Were you going to the store? Always a question mark. Where are you going? Okay, phrases. Again, there's a lot of things you can do to make this more fun. You can play a little tic-tac-toe. You can play a little dots and boxes. You can play some Connect Four. There's lots of things you can do to make this more fun. Same thing as always, make sure your student understands the vocabulary in here as well as is reading accurately. Okay, that's it for the day. Congratulations, your student hit an important milestone today. So that is they started their journey of spelling. So we have been working on phonemic awareness. I mean, we've been working on blends up until this part, getting ready to learn some spelling generalizations. And here we are, level 3, lesson 5, Z-FLOSS rule. Have a great day.